Good morning, geometry class, and I hope everyone's doing well this morning. Just a quick note, make sure if you have a 70 or a below an 80 on your checkup needs to be corrected and turned in today. So be sure if you have anything below an 80 on your checkup, that needs to be corrected. All right, so make sure you correct that and get that turned in. I know everyone had a question concerning number 13. Which requires a little bit of thought, requires a little bit of effort, and I'm not sure if anybody was really wanted to put the work in to solve this problem. So we're going to try to do this together, and then we'll get on to our new topic. So what we've been dealing with thus far is graphing straight lines. So all this pace, we've learned about a coordinate plane, we've learned how to graph lines, and particularly straight lines. Today we're going to look at how to graph circles. And so something a little bit different, and I have the two equations on the board. We'll look at those just in a few moments. All right, so let's pray, and then we'll get started. Dear Jesus, give us great wisdom. Without you, we can do absolutely nothing. I pray each student will look to you for great help, but I pray that we would also work hard and diligently. Give me wisdom to explain these principles that I should, the students' wisdom in applying them. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, page number 26. Page 26. Number 13, all right? So we have x equals negative 4y. So before we do anything, we need to put this in standard form. And since we are looking at linear equations, the standard form is ax plus by equals c. So we need to rearrange this equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go x, and then we're going to apply the addition axiom of equality. So plus 4y equals 0. So that means what x and y are, this equation has to equal 0. All right, so equals 0. So first off, we can go, that's real simple. We can make these 0, right? We can say 0, 0. So 0 plus 4 times 0 is 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0. Okay, we'll start there. Now, how about if we go x2? Okay, so x is 2. So 2, all right, plus 4 times what will give me 0? So basically, 2 minus what would give me 0, class? 2 minus 2. Okay, so how do I turn 4 into 2? Multiply it by 1/2, right? So we could make it negative 1/2 because this has to be a minus. So if I go, right, 2 plus 4 times negative 1/2, does that equal 0? All right, so these would cancel out. This would be negative 2. So 2 minus 2 equals 0. So we have 2 and negative 1/2. Then lastly, we can go, we could just flip this, do the reciprocal, and what if I did negative 2 and positive 1/2? Will I get the same answer there? So, let's see. So, negative 2 plus 4 times 1/2, does that equal 0? All right, obviously this cancels out. So, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So there's your 3 coordinates. So let's graph those quickly. Obviously we have 0, 0, okay, right there. And then we have 2, negative 1/2. So 2 over, correct? And then negative 1/2 down. Remember, so a half is not a whole space. So we're going to go in between lines there. And then negative 2 and positive 1/2. So we're going to go 2 spots over. And then a half a spot up. And then here you have your straight line, okay? So that answers your question for number 13. You got to put your effort into these. You have to think through these. You have to do trial and error to try to figure it out. You will see these on your self-test and on the PACE test. So be sure you know what you're doing there, all right? So let's now move to, all right, let's move to page 33, page number 33 here. Now we're going to look to graph circles, okay? Circles, page number 33. circles. Now, the interesting thing about graphing these circles here will be the fact that when we graph these circles, their centers will be at the origin of our coordinate plane. Okay, so look, beginning in the very first paragraph, what is the equation of a circle whose center is the origin 0, 0? Since a circle is a set of all points equidistant from a fixed point, we can use the distance formula to find all the points at a predetermined distance from another fixed point. So what is the distance formula? So the distance formula is d equals, right, the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, remember, anytime we're looking for the distance between 2 points and the coordinates are all different, this is the distance formula. That's the formula that we're going to use. Now, for instance, let the origin be 0, 0, let the origin 0, 0 be the center, and xy, the points whose distance from the center, is the radius 5. Okay, so to find the equation for this circle, use the distance formula. So let d equals 5. Okay, so I'm going to put right here, instead of d, we're going to substitute 5. All right, now it goes on to say here, to let x1 equal 0, x2 equal x. All right, so x minus 0 squared plus, all right, let's read the directions continuing here. And then y1 equals 0 and y2 equal y. So y minus 0 squared. Now let's do the math. So we have, okay, x minus 0 is 0, and x squared would simply be x squared, right, plus, and then y minus 0, right, so we have 2y, or excuse me, square that, so we have y squared. And now, what we want to do is remove the radical sign. Does anyone know how to remove the radical sign? We square both sides, so. All right, so 5 squared is 25. And then this exponent will remove the radical sign. So we have x squared plus y squared. Now, what does that say? From this, we get the equation of a circle whose center is at the origin. So we can simply rearrange this and go x squared plus y squared equals 25. Okay? Now, so the graph of this equation, obviously you'll see in figure 7, is a circle. So if we graph at the origin, we start at the origin 0, 0, and from there we go 7 spots down, 7 spots to the right, 7 spots up, 7 spots to the left. You will see here we have a circle formed. A circle. So 7 spots. All right, so there we have the radius. Now, look at Theorem 112. You need to memorize this equation. The equation of a circle whose center is at the origin with radius r is, so it's the same equation here. So instead of 25, all right, we're going to put our radius. So you'll see I have it already up on the board here. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. If x and y are 0, all we need to find out is the radius, okay? Now let's look at here. Study this proof of Theorem 112. So let's do Theorem 112. Again, all we want to show is how we come up with this equation. So center 0 are given. Center 0, 0 with the radius r. X and y is a point on the circle. Prove that the equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So, all right, we're going to use our distance formula. So distance equals, all right, we have x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, there's the formula for the distance formula. Now we're going to substitute in our problems here. So now for D, okay, remember we're going to put, that's going to be our radius, so we're going to just make that r. So r equals, now what are our points here? Notice we have our points in our proof here. So x1 is 0, x2 is x. Okay, so so x1 is 0, x2, so x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared. All right, so bring down my r. And so we have the square root of x squared plus y squared. Now, we simply put the exponent on both ends. So here it is. Look up here. This is it. So r squared equals x squared plus y squared. Again, we could just simply rearrange that and go x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Since x and y are 0, right? 0, all we need to figure out is what the radius is. So let's look at this problem here, right below, all right? Notice the example. Before finding the radius of a circle, make sure the equation is in this form. So before we even begin to find the radius, it must be in this form, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So let's look at this one here. We have, sketch this equation, x squared minus 9 plus y squared equals 0. Now, okay, it's not rocket science. Does this look like this? Of course not. So this must be arranged to look like this. So that means we have to get 9 on the right side of the equation, and we'll be fine. So how do I get negative 9 over here? We just simply apply the addition axiom of equality. So x squared plus y squared equals 9, right? I added 9 to both sides. That's how I get 9, okay? Now, from there, how do I find this this radius of a circle? So all we're going to do here, okay, is focus on the r squared. Okay, look again, follow with me on your example, then we're going to practice these on the next page. All right, notice we have, what is r equal? So r is 9. See right here in this equation how it's set up, what's r is on the s side of the equal sign, right? So we're going to say r. So r squared equals 9. How do I find the radius? How do I get r by itself? I just simply find the square root of both sides, so r equals 3. From there, if I come to my coordinate plane, okay, we come to our coordinate plane here. Here's our origin, 0, 0. From there, we're going to go 3 spots to the right. Okay, 3 spots up, 3 spots to the left, 3 spots down. I would take my compass and I would draw a circle through my points. And there you have it. We have a circle with the center at the origin. The center of my circle is located at 0, 0 at the origin. So let's practice, okay? Let's do we'll do the evens on page 34 here. Let's do number 2. Okay, number 2, we have r equals 4. Write the equation of a circle with the radius r at its center 0, 0. All right, so look at number 4 here, okay? We would go, all right, here's the equation, so I'm just going to go x squared plus y squared equals 4 squared. All I'm doing is I'm substituting the 4 into the r. Okay, that's what r equals, so it's substitution. So now we have, here's the answer, x squared plus y squared equals 16. X squared plus y squared equals 16. All right, we'll do number 3 as well since there are only 2 of these. All right, so if r equals 2, all right, we would simply go x squared plus y squared equals 2 squared. And then my final equation would be x squared plus y squared equals 4. All right, that's how you write the equation of a circle with the radius r. All right, now let's actually do a couple of these and graph them. Okay, we have number 4. Looking at number 4 here. X squared minus 16 equals negative y squared. All right, so let me draw my coordinate plane. Okay, here we go. All right, now, what's the center and what is the radius? Now we know the center is going to be what? We know it's going to be 0, 0. Okay, that's real simple. Now, what's the radius? In order to find the radius, all we need to do is rearrange this equation. That has to be rearranged to look like this. Once we do that, we can find the radius by finding the square root of the number. So let's go x squared plus y squared equals 16. If I went a little fast for you, all I did was I added 16 to both sides, and I added y squared to both sides. I applied the addition axiom of equality. Now, okay, so here we go. How do I find what the radius is? So we're going to go r squared equals 16. Okay, find the square root of both sides. R equals 4. From there, we're going to go, all right, so 0, 0 is our center. And then from there, we're going to go 4 spots to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 spots down on our graph. Then you would take your compass, stick your compass needle on the origin of the graph, and then open your compass, your radius up to where it touches these points, and simply draw your circle. And that's how you would draw a circle with your radius, with your center at 0, 0 and your radius at 4. You're going to do number 5 for homework, right? Let's look at page 35. Now, how do I graph circles with their centers not at or not on the origin? Okay? So circles with centers at H and K. That's what we're using the two letters H and K to represent anywhere else on the graph that is not the origin. So H and K are going to represent the two numbers that are located on our graph that are not the origin, okay? So let's look at theorem 113. The equation of a circle whose center is H and K, so again, any two numbers on the coordinate plane, and whose radius is R, is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. All right, so now how do we do this? Let's look at down below here. You'll see down on your page 35, about halfway down, you'll see an illustration. We're going to do that illustration together, okay? And so let's find the center and radius of x minus 3 squared plus y minus negative 4 squared equals 49. Now what we're going to do here, class, is we're going to take each element of the equation and solve for each element of the equation, okay? So how do we do that? For example, okay, you see, as we're looking at these two equations, notice they're in the same form here, okay? X minus h, now the 3 is substituted in here, so x minus 3 squared plus, all right, y minus k, and so we have y minus negative 4 here squared, and then r squared, and then here we have 49. So we're going to solve for each element. How we do that is simply this. Now watch. Okay, I'm going to take my equation, and we're going to put that on the left side of the equation, x minus h equals, and then we're going to put on the right side of the equation this number here, x minus 3. Okay? Now, all right, let's come over on this side here. We have y minus k equals, and I'm just going to put this on this side, y, and since it's a negative times a negative, I'm just going to put y plus 4. Now, here's how we find h and k. We have to get h and k by itself. Now, notice, when I get h by itself, watch what happens. I got to remove the x, right? So if I subtract the x from this side, what happens to the x on this side? So if I subtract x here, subtraction axiom, what happens to the x's? They both equal 0. They cancel out. Right? And real simple. If I have the same number or same coefficient on either side of the equal sign, I could always just cancel them out. Okay? So here's, look. So we have what's left. Negative h equals negative 3. Obviously, we want to get rid of that negative sign. So we have h equals 3. Okay, so there's our first coordinate is 3. Now let's find our second coordinate. Now let's solve here for k. In order to solve for k, I got to remove y. Since I have y on both sides of my equal sign, they automatically cancel out. So we have negative k equals 4. Multiply both sides by negative 1. So we have k equals negative 4. What have I done? I have just found the center of our circle. So if you were to graph this, you would go to 3, negative 4, and that would be your center. Now we need the radius to find how big the circle is. How do I find the radius? Well, here it is. We have 49. So r squared equals, right, here's the last element of our equation. So we're going to write here, r squared equals 49. And then all we got to do is find the square root of both sides. R equals 7. So our center is 3, negative 4. Our radius is 7. Now, in our book there, you can see where they graphed it. Okay, so notice here, so the center is negative 3, 4, so that is graphed, or 3, negative 4. There's the center, and from that center, you're going 7 spots to the left, 7 spots up, 7 spots to the right, 7 spots down. Mark those points, get your compass out, stick your compass point on the center, and then open up your compass to the proper radius, and then draw your circle around those points. All right, so let's do a couple. All right, let's do number 2 on the bottom of page 35. Okay, it's good to practice here. So again, we're using each element of this equation in order to solve, right? So page 35, looking at number 2, we have our center is 2, 3, and our radius is 8. The question says, find the equation of a circle with the center and radius. With the center and radius, all right? So all I'm doing is taking this equation and I'm putting in, remember, the 2 letters that represent would be h and k. So I'm just going to substitute those numbers into my equation. So x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared, okay, and equals, and then obviously what's 8 squared? Okay, we would put 8 squared, which would simply be 64, and that's just the equation. All right, so that's all we're doing is we're simply substituting our numbers into the equation and writing out our equation of a circle there. Okay, so do number 3. Let's do number 4. Okay, number 4, we'll do that one. So number 4, we have negative 5, negative 2 is our center, and our radius is 5. Okay, so let's just simply plug this in here. Okay, so we have x. All right, now notice we have a minus sign here, and then our first number, 8, would be represented by h. It's negative 5. So we're going to do x minus negative 5, right, squared, plus y, all right, now minus, and then we have negative 2 squared equals, and then our radius would be 5 squared, which would be 25. And that's how you draw those, to write those, simply draw out the equation there, right? So let's graph a couple of these, just get into practice of graphing here. All right, so let's erase all this. Number 6, using the formula x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9, determine the area of evacuation of a city if the center is an area where a toxic gas leak has been discovered. All right, so in order to do that, we must find the center and then the radius, and then we're going to graph this, okay? So draw my origin there. Okay. All right, now let me draw the equation. So x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9. Okay, now we're going to solve this, okay? So here's our equation. So what we're going to do is, okay, I'm going to take the first part of my equation, and we're going to go x minus h equals x minus 4. And then I'm going to take the second part of my equation, and I'm going to go y minus k equals y minus 3. And then we've got to find the radius, and then we're going to go r squared equals 9. So let's solve our, find the center, and then let's find the radius. So x minus h, again, the x's are on both sides of the equal sign. I'm just going to simply cross those out. So negative h equals negative 4. I don't want to have a negative coefficient, so I'm going to multiply by negative 1. So h equals 4. Okay, so that's the first part of our center. Now let's look at the second part of our center. Again, y minus k equals y minus 3. We know the y's are going to cancel each other out. So we have negative k equals negative 3. Again, multiply both sides by negative 1. So k equals 3. All right, so there's the center. Let's graph it. Graph it on your equation. All right, so on your graph there, number 6, let's graph 4, 3. So 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 up. All right, there's your center. Now from there, what's the radius? Okay, so let's come here. So we have 9 here, so our r squared equals 9. We're going to find the square root of both sides. So r equals 3. So our radius is 3. All right, so from our center, we're going 3 spots to the right, 3 spots up, 3 spots to the left, 3 spots down, and then from there, get your compass out, stick your compass needle on the center there, and then open up your compass to the correct radius, and then draw a circle around those points, and that's how you simply graph a circle with the numbers anywhere else but the origin. Let's do one more, number 8. Let's do number 8 together. Okay, number 8 together. All right, we have x plus 2 squared plus y squared equals 16. All right, so this is number 8. Number 8. All right, let's simply plug in here now. So we're going to take the first part of this equation. So x minus h equals, okay, x plus 2. And then we're taking the second part of the equation, y minus k equals, and then since all we have here is just y squared, so we're just going to simply plug that in. All right, 2. If I don't have anything there, what do you think I should put for a placeholder? 0. So, all right, let's put that there. So y minus k equals y minus 0. Okay, y minus 0. Now from there, okay, all right, so just put y plus 0 there. All right, just put y plus 0 there. Okay. Let's solve. Since we have x's on both sides, so we have negative h equals 2. Multiply both sides by negative 1. H equals -2. So there's the first part of our center. Next thing you know, we're going to cross out the y's on both sides. And then we have -k equals 0. Right? So multiply both sides by -1, obviously 0, right? So -2, 0 is our center. So let's look at -2. So -2, 0. So that center would be -2 over, and it doesn't go up at all. All right, right there. And then from there, we're going to find the radius. 16. So 16, r squared equals 16. Find the square root of both sides. R equals 4. And there's our radius. So we're going to go 4 spots to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots down. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Okay. And then draw your circle. And there you have your answer. Okay, so make sure you do those. Make sure you do the odds there. So number 5, number 7, and number 9. 5, 7, and 9. All right, so we're going to leave off there for this morning. And so, again, for homework, I want you to do those. If you have a below an 80 on your checkup, that needs to be corrected. I know who you are, so make sure you turn those in, those corrections. And this way we'll be able to make sure you know what you are doing, all right? So have a good day. We'll pick up tomorrow on coordinate proofs on page 37. Have a great day.